I mean, there are those who also wonder, because it was part of the manifesto to industrialize the country, each region should have something to also work on concerning industrialization. Is that conversation still going on?
It is. I tell you, and Nigeria's industrialization will be founded on enormous changes that will come in agriculture, because all of these things that the president has been talking about, creating millions of jobs, is looking at agriculture as the one that will mop up perhaps virtually all the young men who are roaming the streets without job. Agriculture, they're the quick wins. Agriculture, solid minerals. You will see the implementation of massive reforms in agriculture becoming the new budget.
They also talked about creating 3 million jobs on a yearly basis. How is that?
The president,
yes, go ahead.
The president will do 100% effort. He's a very realistic person. And he will strive to do 3 million. Did I say 3 million? I think we check the numbers, both you and I. But assuming we did say 3 million, the president will do 100% effort, hoping that we'll get to 100% results. If that doesn't happen, he's going to open up everything, and Nigerians will see and see where he's coming from, offer explanation as to why that is not achievable. And
then at the moment, you've talked about the fact that yes, those assets have been declared, but many will also wonder, what about his aides? Are they also going to declare theirs? I'm seeing comments here saying it won't be a bad idea if the aides should also follow suit, such as the governors will have no reason whatsoever not to do theirs.
We have declared our assets. I have done mine, speaking for myself, and it's before the Code of Conduct Bureau, and I believe that they are treating it in line with the law.
Will the ministers be expected to do the same thing?
I guess it's entirely dependent upon Professor Oshibajo and President Muhammadu Buhari. If they decide that this is going to be a government policy, all of us will fall into line if we have to serve in their government.
You know why Chamberlain is asking this question? It would seem as if everyone is taking a cue from the president. As we speak, most states have not constituted their own cabinet, perhaps taking a cue from the president, who hasn't done that yet. So are we likely to see a copying of this move by the president?
Well, I guess if that happens, that would be good for the country. I support it that people should volunteer without being forced to do so. It will help the country.
You know, when we talk about the oil and gas sector, that's something that most Nigerians will love to, given you've said that credit should go to Nigerians, but you know, sometimes some individuals may have kicked off some of these moves that we have seen being reflected in our petroleum industry. Would you want to take us through all of that? Because it would seem as if suddenly everything seemed to be working. Was there, in all honesty, some form of effort before your government came on board to have latched onto that this is coming to the fore now?
Yes and no. I think that, you know, I have seen some lazy explanation of this fantastic outcome coming from the PDP. At some point, they were even saying that that the entire system was being sabotaged, so that Dr. Jonathan, as president, was thrown out of office, and the new government took over. And then, which is silly. I mean, it doesn't seem to make any sense. As I said earlier on, now the sense is that you know, Chief Abiola, may God bless his soul, used to say that when the fish is rotting, it starts smelling from the head. The lesson from this is that leadership flows top downwards. If the leadership shows example, then the followership would do the right things. And I think that what President Muhammadu Buhari and Professor Oshibajo are doing is to set the standards and show that it can be done in the right way. And people are just taking the cue.
Mr. Shehu, just one more question. I think we're running out of time now. Why is this just being given to the public?
The assets?
Yeah.
Well, we thought that the verification of the assets would have been complete much earlier than now. And I must say that they are doing a commendable job at the Code of Conduct Bureau. But this is work that entails intelligence activity. If you have something abroad, it should be expected that they will be able to get someone there to look at it and they say this is the right thing. That is the law, unless somebody is not doing their job. So as it is now, the process is not even complete. And in any case, I filled my own. It is a very laborious process. And they keep going back and forth because the requirements are enormous.
So even without the code of conduct completing their job, you've decided to just, give it to the public anyway?
No, the highlights, yes, that's what we have done. These are the highlights. I believe that by the time all of the processes are complete.
In other words, if we have almost all the ministers or governors go through that process, it might take an entire year or years for them to go through all of that, because we're talking about two individuals, two principal officers of the country, the president and the vice president, and it will seem as if the CCB is taking forever.
No, that is not to say that the CCB had itself been preoccupied with only these two forms. They've been so much on their own. That's not the idea. Public servants have a timeline within which to hand in their forms. When they do their verification, that is entirely up to them.
Mr. Shehu, what do you say to those who think that giving this document to the public, as you did yesterday, published today, is aimed at diverting the attention so that people will focus on talking about this one rather than look for those milestones that you spoke about?
The milestones we've been talking about this milestone: security, economy, corruption. They're all there for everyone to see. So we're not hiding anything. And the fact is that I was made to give a statement that we will do so within 100 days. By our 100 days. So if you didn't come out today, then we are in areas of time and we have lost it.
So, okay, in other words, can they interpret it as though, all right, they felt the need to do it within that 100 days, given the comments that were making the rounds at the time?
We gave the commitment. We gave the commitment.
Okay. What about what's your impression of those comments that made the rounds too about the nature of the federal appointments that had been made by the president?
I think they were premature and emotional in many of the cases, because it's a president who has thousands of jobs to give, and he did a few that you could count on your fingertips. Certainly nothing close to 5% of those jobs that he will give. So my own point of view is that they will come in waves, and that this set of wave, 1, 2 waves had to come. So allow time. If you are not touched by this wave, perhaps the next one or the next one or the next one will come your way. It will happen. All parts of the country will be fairly and adequately represented in line with the constitution of the country, which requires that every part of this country must be given a sense of belonging.
All right, then thank you very much indeed, Mr. Garba Shehu, Special Assistant to the President on Media.
Thank you, you three, you guys. Have a nice day.
All right.